Most fitness books just hand you a plan. This one, though, it gives you a philosophy. Today, we're diving into a critical review of Brian Keane's The Fitness Mindset. His big argument? That the toughest part of getting in shape isn't the workout, it's what's going on in the 6 inches between your ears. So, let's break it all down.
Have you ever felt like you were just drowning in a sea of fitness advice? Carbs are good. No, carbs are evil. You have to do HIIT. No, you have to do LISS. It's completely overwhelming. The author, Brian Keane, actually kicks things off by admitting he almost gave up on fitness altogether because of that exact information overload. This book is basically his attempt to cut through all that noise.
So, Keane's solution is this really clear 2-part system. Part 1 is all about the physical stuff, the nutrition, the training, the sleep. But part 2, and honestly, this is the part that I think is so compelling, is all about the mindset you need to actually make it stick. It's that combination of the what to do and the how to think that really makes this book something different. All right, so let's start where the book starts, with the physical blueprint. This is the nuts and bolts, the what to do part of the equation that really lays the groundwork for everything else. Keane makes a great point that you can't get bogged down in the tiny details until you've nailed the absolute basics. And it all starts with calories and macros. I mean, look at this. Protein and carbs give you 4 calories for every gram. But fat? That's way more dense, at 9 calories per gram. Just understanding that simple bit of math is the foundation for everything when it comes to managing your energy. So it's probably no surprise that Keane puts a huge emphasis on protein. He pretty much frames it as the single most important tool you have for repairing your muscles after you train. The core idea here is really simple. If you're not getting enough protein, all that hard work you're putting in at the gym just isn't going to translate into the results you want. Next up, Keane tackles our decades-long fear of fat. He argues that we shouldn't be demonizing it. Instead, we should see healthy fats, especially things like omega-3s, as crucial fuel, not just for steady energy, but for keeping your brain functioning at its best. It's a complete 180 from that old, simplistic, fat makes you fat mantra. And what about carbs? Well, Keane treats them as your body's #1 fuel source for performance. But here's the crucial part. It's all about timing. He recommends using slow-releasing carbs, like you'd get from oats or sweet potatoes, at specific moments, like in the morning or right after a workout. This way, you get the energy you need without those awful blood sugar spikes and crashes. This is a fantastic illustration of a point he makes about hidden calories. He's realistic about alcohol, but he just wants you to be aware. I mean, look at the difference here. A couple of pints of beer can have as many calories as a small meal, while clear spirits are way, way lower. It's just about making smarter choices that actually line up with your goals. Now, moving on to training, Keane lays out his core philosophy, which he calls tension-style training. He argues that too many of us are just mindlessly moving a weight from point A to point B. The goal shouldn't be just to finish 10 reps. The goal is to put that muscle under deliberate, constant tension through every single inch of the movement. He says that's the secret to getting better results in less time. And this idea is built on something called the mind-muscle connection. It's about taking an exercise from a purely physical act and turning it into a focused, intentional one. So instead of just doing a bicep curl, you're actively thinking about the bicep, feeling it contract, feeling it lengthen. It sounds simple, but it is an absolute game changer for making every single rep count. And that brings us perfectly to the second half of the book, which, in my opinion, is where the real magic happens. Keane makes this powerful argument that you can have the most perfect diet and training plan in the world, but if you don't have the right mindset, you are just destined to fail. So how do you build that mindset? Keane borrows from the science of habit formation, specifically from Charles Duhigg's habit loop. Every habit we have follows this pattern. There's a cue, which triggers a routine, which leads to a reward. So think about it. The cue might be stress. The routine might be eating junk food. And the reward is that temporary feeling of comfort. Keane's whole point is that to change the habit, you don't get rid of the stress. You have to replace the routine that follows. Keane uses this really powerful analogy to explain why breaking some habits is just so hard. A brand new habit is like a little sapling. It's easy to just pull it right out. But a habit you've had for 20 years, well, that's not a sapling anymore. That's a mighty oak tree with deep, deep roots. And trying to uproot that requires a whole different level of strategy and effort. So what's really driving these habits deep down? Keane references Tony Robbins to make this really fundamental point about us as humans. We are always, constantly, moving away from things we see as pain and towards things we see as pleasure. And if you can understand what your brain registers as pain and pleasure, you can basically hijack your own behavior for long-term success. This all leads to his biggest point, finding your why. And he illustrates this with a brilliant analogy. He says, imagine there's a plank between two skyscrapers. Would you walk across it for $100? Probably not, right? But what if your child was on the other side? You'd be over there in a flash. The risk didn't change. The plank didn't change. What changed? Your why, your reason. When your reason is powerful enough, you become unstoppable. So, after breaking down all these key pieces, what's our final analysis here? What's the big takeaway from the fitness mindset? So here is our final verdict. The book's absolute greatest strength is how it powerfully connects the physical actions with the mental strategy. The core message is so true. Motivation fades, we all know that, but a strong why is what creates real, lasting consistency. In our view, this isn't a book for some elite athlete chasing tiny gains. It's an essential guide for anyone out there who feels stuck and who is starting to realize the real battle isn't in the gym, it's in their head. It's all about sustainable habits, not quick fixes. And of course, it's really important to remember that this has been our review and analysis. It's for educational and commentary purposes. We've paraphrased the ideas and added our own perspective. To get the full context, all the personal stories, and the really detailed plans from Brian Keane himself, we highly encourage you to go out and read the original book. So we want to leave you with the same central question that the book poses. Just for a second, forget about the sets and the reps and the calories, and ask yourself, what's the reason that would be powerful enough to make you cross that plank? What is the why that truly drives your mindset?